everybody, 'tis I, the Rumpled One. Friday, July the 6th, 2012. Just getting my morning cherry juice and a couple of biscuits that I made. I hope you all had a nice July 4th. Did you read the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution? Did you discuss politics? It was interesting. After I made that video on July 4th, I had been invited to a friend's house for dinner. But the previous day, after he found out my strong opinions regarding Obama, he asked me to not discuss politics. So, out of respect, I didn't. There was a bunch of professional people there. It's about 9 of us all told. It was interesting. I found the gathering very adult-like. Not that it was stiff or anything, but it wasn't the usual type. I've lived in the professional world before. I used to work in Washington, D.C. back in the 80s, early 80s. 3-piece jungle every day. Can you imagine me in a white shirt, tie, vest? Yep, Monday through Friday, every day. I was in the 3-piece jungle, the rat race. But what was interesting about the conversation the other night was, once again, these are college-educated, professional people. I asked the question, do you believe in fate and destiny, or do you believe in free choice and free will? And one person said, well, both. And I said they're mutually exclusive by definition. And you can look in the dictionary or Google it, and you'll see that under the definition of free will, free choice, it excludes fate and destiny. But they wanted to argue, debate, discuss. And it was a passionate discussion. But it amazes me that people with college degrees want to believe that there's some power out there that controls them, that their fate is sealed, they have this destiny, that maybe there's nothing they can do about it. That just runs counter to everything that life has taught me. It's the old, you know, you can hope, but if you hope in one hand and poop in the other, which one fills up faster? We all know the answer to that one, don't we? And it ties in with a few things that I've been making videos. I say on my videos, when I talk about luck, it's not luck. It all gets down to one thing, action. And so, you know I like Robert Ringer. His book, Action. Nothing happens until something moves. And if you think about it, it's pretty much true. My ranch, nothing gets done unless I move something. I gotta move me, move the mower, the weed eater, the loppers. It's all about action, taking action. And if I need something, I gotta hop in the truck, go into town and get it. And I decided I wanted a picnic table, so when I barbecue, I can set up a table in the front or in the back. So I took action, went to the hardware store, bought the materials. I found plans on the internet. Because if I didn't take action, it wouldn't be there. And to me, it's one of those things. I know you hear me say it all the time. It's so simple. But most people, they go, well, it just wasn't meant to be. And I think they use that as an excuse for their failure or their lack of success. But they don't want to take responsibility for it themselves. So, it wasn't meant to be. It's some power out there intervened. Then they always try and bring up examples to say, well, if somebody gets sick, well, there's a lot of ways to look at it. Maybe they just got bad genes from their parents. Their DNA was defective in some way, shape, or form. Not too much they could do about it. But that was their parents' choice to have kids. Now you could be driving down the street and a tree falls, the bridge falls out from under you. An animal or person runs in front of your car, you swerve to avoid it, and you die in a car crash. I mean, all these things could happen, but the bottom line is, you were there. You could have chose to do something else. And I was telling the people at this party that I take 100% responsibility for everything that has happened, is happening, and will happen to me. Right now as I talk, there could be a sniper that could take a shot and take me out. Well, I didn't have to come out here on the front porch where they could get a shot at me. Now, you might think that sounds extreme, but that's the reality of the situation. Is that actions have consequences, as Ringer says. And whether or not you want to take action and take responsibility for your action or inaction, that's your choice. Life is choices. But maybe some people out there watching this, maybe you truly feel and believe that if it wasn't meant to be, there's nothing you could do about it. I just can't give up my power that way. It just doesn't sit right in my mind. And if you think about it, these guys didn't take action. You might not be watching this video right now. I might not be making it. But I just kind of found it interesting that on July 4th they didn't want to discuss politics. He wanted it to be a nice dinner. It's pretty funny because there's so many things that people do, actions they take, really don't have much effect on the outcome. For example, it's a nice dinner. Things get cooked in pots. Well, then they take stuff out of the pot and put it into a dish so it looks nice on the table. So what? Does it improve the taste of the food? But that's just me. Some people care about it. There's nothing wrong with that. I just find it humorous. They just more dishes to wash. I mean, we're setting out the placemats, and they had to put them in a certain order so they look nice. You know, it's like you want blue, pink, blue rather than blue, blue, pink. I mean, what difference does it make? But some people focus on these things. I don't know, maybe they're pleasing to the eye for some people, but for me, it doesn't really matter. And that kind of gets down to another topic. You know, focusing on what really matters as opposed to the trivial. I mean, we only get so many laps around the sun before it's over, and you just never know when you're on your final lap. So for all practical purposes, you're always on your final lap. So you think that this precious thing called time, the stuff that life is made of, you wouldn't want to waste or frit away on trivial things. You know, some people can say, well, you're making these videos, aren't they trivial? Well, I kind of hope that I might be passing on a few things that I've learned in my laps around the sun, so maybe somebody else can use them, benefit, sharing the knowledge. I mean, the internet is the information highway, supposedly the free exchange of knowledge and ideas, even though it's kind of like the Wild West and homesteading, staking your claim, but that's a whole different topic. If you take a look at the things that you do on a regular recurring basis, you might find that there's some things that you do really don't matter. They're really not that high on your priority list, but you just got in the habit of doing them. You might want to check that. You could always take that time, energy, maybe money, and apply it to something that you really think is important to you. Especially in this economy where a lot of people having trouble making ends meet. You know, as preppers, when you're stockpiling, you find something you want and you have to save up for it or work for it or barter for it. That's why I take the money from the yard sales and then I put it into something that I want. So need to be having another yard sale sometime soon because I really want one of those pole saws. You know I got a lot of trees around here. I'll probably wear it out. But anyway, just to kind of wrap up here, action. But I'd like to hear from you. Maybe you think that there is fate and destiny. I just don't like to think that way. But I can tell you what your fate and destiny is if you don't prepare. Your fate and destiny, if you fail to prepare today, is that you're preparing to fail tomorrow.